Welcome back. This week, we are cutting right through the noise to bring you 4 crucial updates that could really change the game for how you sell your business, handle your taxes, manage imports, and even find new talent.
So what's on the docket today? Well, we're going to look at how to maximize your business's true value, not just what's on paper. Then there's a critical tax deadline you absolutely cannot miss. After that, a new carbon tax that's on the horizon. And finally, a legislative change that could unlock a whole new pool of talent. All right, let's dive in. First up, let's talk valuation. You know, if you're even thinking about selling your business, whether that's 6 months from now or 6 years from now, you got to understand that its worth is about way more than just the profit it made last year.
It's the big question, isn't it? The one every business owner asks. But here's the thing, the answer isn't really hidden in a spreadsheet. It's all about what a potential buyer thinks. And trust me, they're not just looking at your profits, they're weighing your risk against their potential return on investment.
So the whole thing boils down to this. Buyers are looking for profits that are maintainable, profits they can count on. Did you get a big one-off insurance payout last year? Yeah, they'll strip that right out of the calculation. Or do you pay yourself a tiny salary for tax purposes? They're going to look at that and factor in the real-world cost of hiring someone to actually replace you. They have to know that they can repeat your success even when you're not there.
And this is where it gets really interesting. I mean, you could have 2 businesses with the exact same profit, but their values could be worlds apart. A buyer sees recurring revenue from solid, long-term contracts as like a healthy, fruit-bearing tree. It's reliable. But a business that's built on a bunch of one-off projects and handshake deals, to a buyer, that just looks like a plant on life support. The risk is sky high, and you better believe the price they offer is going to reflect that.
Now these right here, these are the red flags that will send a potential buyer running for the hills. And probably the biggest one? A business that is all about you. I mean, if you're the secret sauce, the main salesperson, the tech genius, and the person all the clients love, a buyer knows that when you walk out the door, all that magic is probably gone too. A messy balance sheet or a sketchy compliance history? Well, that just gives them even more reasons to worry.
But look, the good news is you can fix all of this stuff over time. The key is to start thinking like a buyer now. Start delegating, start documenting your processes so someone else can do them. Try to move your customers on to retainers or subscriptions. And please, invest in systems that let the business run without you. These aren't overnight fixes for sure, but they will consistently and dramatically increase your business's value when it's finally time to sell.
Speaking of getting your financials in order, you're also going to need them for the government's new Making Tax Digital rules, which, by the way, are now officially in effect.
Okay, this is the timeline you absolutely need to know. The rules officially started back on April 6th for sole traders and landlords with over £50,000 in turnover. Now, if you've just gotten a letter from HMRC about this, don't panic. The date you really need to circle on your calendar is August 7th. That is your first quarterly filing deadline, which gives you a crucial little window to get everything prepared.
And here's some more good news. HMRC isn't hitting people with penalties for late signups just yet. But please, don't let that lull you into a false sense of security. The longer you wait, the bigger the headache of catching up on your digital records is going to be. My advice? Get your software sorted out now, and that August deadline will be a total walk in the park.
Okay, third update. We're shifting gears and looking ahead to 2027 at a major change for any business importing certain goods. It's called the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, or CBAM, and it's basically a new tax on imported goods based on the carbon emissions that were produced when they were made.
So what's the big idea behind this new tax?
Well, it's all about stopping something called carbon leakage. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. It's designed to stop companies from dodging the UK's stricter environmental laws by just moving their carbon-heavy production to countries where the rules are, let's say, a bit more relaxed. CBAM is all about leveling the playing field.
So who really needs to pay attention to this? Well, if you import any of the materials you see on the screen right now, this new tax is coming for you. And hey, even if you don't import them directly but they're a part of your supply chain, you need to start asking some serious questions, like right now. And for our final update, we're looking at a really big piece of legislation that could be a huge win for employers. It's all about unlocking a whole new pool of talent by removing a key barrier that stopped people from working. This quote really just gets to the heart of the problem. For so many disabled people or those with long-term health conditions, the real fear that trying a new job could trigger a benefits reassessment is a massive deterrent. I mean, if the job doesn't work out, they could lose their support. It leaves people who really want to work just stuck.
Well, this new right to try legislation directly tackles that fear. As of this month, starting a job or even just volunteering will no longer automatically trigger that reassessment. For you as an employer, this is a really big deal. It could mean that really suitable, talented candidates who were previously too hesitant to even apply might now start entering the job market.
All right, I know we've covered a ton of ground today, from long-term business strategy to some very immediate deadlines. So let's boil it all down to the 4 key takeaways you need to remember from this week's briefing.
First up, valuation. Start thinking like a buyer today to make your business more valuable tomorrow. Second, making tax digital. Get your digital records in order now because that August 7th deadline is your first real test. Third, the carbon tax. If you import any of those specific materials, start planning for 2027. And finally, on hiring, keep an eye out because a wider, previously untapped talent pool may now be available to you.
And that brings us to the end. 4 very different updates, but they all point to one thing. The business landscape is always changing. And that really leaves us with one final crucial question for you to think about. Thanks for tuning in.